Welcome to the Boston Barrister, Kevin Patrick Sieber, bringing you insights about your family and the world.
Welcome to the Boston Barrister. My name is Kevin Patrick Sieber. I am located in the beautiful downtown Boston, Massachusetts. Today I want to talk about the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families and some of the most frequently asked questions that I get all the time. First question I always get is, Attorney Sieber, do I really need a lawyer? The answer is overwhelmingly yes if you're involved with the Department of Children and Families. Now, why is that? Well, let me start off with, you're a layperson. Not an insult, you just are. You're like giving me a hammer to go do some carpentry work. Could I? I guess I could. I did years ago. It wouldn't come out good. And it's the same thing with the DCF case. You would never give your taxes to your electrician to do. And you would never give your accountant the wires in your home to do electrical work. Just that simple. You need to have an authority, someone who specializes in what you're looking for. Regardless of what it is in life, find that specialist. So now I'm going to ask a series of questions and be honest with yourself and answer them forthrightly. Do you know the policies that controls the Department of Children and Families? And the answer is, when you're a layperson, absolutely not. Number two, do you know the procedures that govern the Department of Children and Families in Massachusetts? Again, as a layperson, absolutely not. Number three, do you know the protocols that govern the Department of Children and Families in Massachusetts? Same answer. You're a layperson, you have no clue. Number four, do you know the time standards that govern your involvement with the Department of Children and Families in Massachusetts? And again, it's the same answer. Absolutely not. You don't know how many days your investigation is going to go on for. You don't know whether it's emergency or non-emergency. You don't know what the decisions are at the end of your fair hearing. You don't know what you can do and how you can do it to appeal that decision, which we all hope is not supported. But if it is, how many days you have to file with a fair hearing unit for the Department of Children and Families. And if you don't, you're forever time barred. I go on all day about the process, procedure, and protocols and time standards. But there's other things. DCF has statutes that govern them. Do you know what they are? Again, you're a layperson. You shouldn't have to know that. And many don't. Not your fault. But they're very important. Same thing with DCF regulations contained in 110 CMR, Code of Mass Regulations. There's a whole book of this stuff. And knowing them is real difficult, even as a lawyer, because they change on a continuous basis. With that said, as a layperson, you're not expected to know this. Last but not least, do you know what the laws are that govern DCF and you, your conduct, your behavior, your attitude? And as a layperson, the honest answer is absolutely not. And nor should you be. And again, the laws change, like the regulations, like the statutes, on a continuous basis. And it's voluminous. There's all types of cases. There's all types of laws that have been promulgated and implemented and executed. So with that said, this is why you get yourself a lawyer, to come between you and DCF, to guide and guide you through the process of DCF. And get DCF the best possible result for you, and get DCF out of your life once and for all. Now, the second question I always get is, well, why should I hire you, Attorney Sieber? Great question. And I want to give you an honest answer. We've been doing this a long time. We're battle tested. One thing you can't buy with a credit card or a debit card is experience. You want to find that lawyer that is specialized in the knowledge that you're seeking. In this case, DCF. We have been in every single probate and family court, juvenile court, as well as DCF office in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts at one time or another, for some reason or another. And we deal with DCF on a daily basis. So they know us, we know them. The third question that everybody asks me is price. What's it going to cost me, Attorney Sieber? When someone asks me that question, they put me in the same category with all the other lawyers that do not have experience, skill, training, and knowledge how to handle DCF, with many decades of experience. And the crazy part is about prices that we can and often give a payment schedule, which allows everybody to afford Attorney Sieber if they choose to spend their money wisely. Now, I want to be clear that nobody woke up this morning and said, yay, I get to spend money on a lawyer, perhaps even Attorney Kevin Sieber. It don't work that way. Never has, never will. But there are times when it's money well spent. And let me explain to you why. At the very beginning, you're going to have what's called an investigation. That's when you want to hire a lawyer immediately. Because down the road, it'll save you a lot of time, energy, anxiety, and sleepless nights. You can't put a cost or a price on your child's head. They're priceless. When DCF comes into your world, they may try to blindside you. They say, hey, we got to meet. We need to meet. And then when they meet, what do? They read you the allegations. You should know those allegations long before they come to your home. Okay? That's what's called due process. That's what's called fairness. Do you think it's fair for DCF to walk through your doors and read you the allegations? Then you're expected to answer questions? That is totally out of bounds. That is totally unfair. And yet I see it happen on a daily basis. But only if you allow DCF to run you over like a truck. That's not fair. And you know in your gut when you're not being treated fair. You do not have to be a lawyer to figure this out. And there's an old saying that once, shame on you, DCF. Twice, shame on you as a parent to allow them to stick it to you a second time. And once they've hurt you once, there's no question they'll do it again and again and again, if you allow them to. And in certain circumstances, this is not the social worker being evil or, dirty or, nefarious. They're not lawyers. They don't know your rights. And yet I hear social workers all the time and I cringe. Tell my clients about the laws and the rules and the statutes and the regulations and how many days they have to do this and how many days they have to do that. And they're wrong sometimes. And just being wrong once can really hurt parents. And more importantly, your children, the innocent victims in all this nonsense. I want you to know, I should be, but I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And if you're talking tea, get me some Barry's Irish tea. I love it. But I want you to know that I'm not for everybody. I should be, because I'm going to tell you to be courteous, kind, and polite to DCF. I'm going to tell you, shut the fire truck up. I'm going to tell you, loose lips sink ships. I'm going to tell you, answer only the question posed. Do not get what I call diarrhea of the mouth. Blah, 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 blah. You talk yourself right into a supported decision. I've seen it happen more times than I care to count. And my favorite line is, I had nothing to hide, Attorney Seaver. Really? Yeah, you do. This is the government. They are not going to read you the Miranda rights. This is not a criminal case. It's civil. So unlike the criminal where they read you the Miranda rights and they really shake you up and wake you up, they don't do that, the DCF case. So you have to be on high sea. What do I mean by that? There's a case that happened called the Howard case. It was decided in 2006 by the Supreme Judicial Court of the great state of Massachusetts. And it states that the social workers, these response workers that come on your door, that they are an agent of the local, the state, and the federal law enforcement. How lovely is that? So in other words, while you're sitting here having diarrhea of the mouth telling DCF everything under the sun, they're writing everything down. And they're bringing it back to who? The local, state, and federal police will then give it to whom? The district attorney's office. And guess what? You may talk yourself right into a criminal charges. Isn't that sweet, huh? And what the crazy part about all of this is, you pay that social worker, that response worker, that investigator, salary with your taxes. You paid to get hurt by the government. But the government only hurts you if you do what? You open your mouth. So what's the last thing I'm going to tell you about this? Your ears will never get you in trouble. Your ears will never get you in trouble. For the third time, your ears will never get you in trouble. So shut the fire truck up, loose lips sink ships. Less is more. Get yourself a lawyer to guide you and guide you through this. Remember, the United States Constitution says, we the people. Don't ever forget that. Thank you.